Commercial Construction Coffee Talk fans? Welcome to today's episode. My name's David Corson. I'm the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction and Renovation magazine. I'm also your host for Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Thanks for chiming in, finding us on the web. Hope you all had a relaxing Labor Day weekend. Still hot and crazy down here in the South. Myself, my house is up for sale. I think I had 6 showings this weekend. You know, I just don't know what these people do. I leave my house, I grab my dogs, throw them in the truck, I sit in my neighbor's yard, and I'm wondering, what are these people doing in my house? Are they trying on my underwear or shirts, or what are they doing? You know, they spend an hour in there and then they leave. And then I don't even know if they even like the house, you know? And the listing agents, oh my God, they're useless. They don't do anything. I had this listing agent. They're like, do you have a fence? I'm like, you pulled right up to it. Didn't you see it? It runs the whole perimeter of the house. I mean, yeah. Anyway, but I got another showing today and this weekend. Hopefully we'll just get rid of this house and ready to start building up on the lake and, acting as my own contractor and see how good I am. So anyway, hope you all had a great weekend. Starting the week out on a positive note. Have a great episode today. We're going to talk cannabis construction. I have a nice gentleman up in the great city of, basically Chicago area. His name is Chuck Taylor. He's the director of operations for Englewood Construction. Say hi, Chuck.
Hey there.
Welcome to Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
David, thank you so much for having me.
No, hey, listen, we have all sorts of guests, and we added a cannabis column to our magazine a few issues back, and now we've got a cover on there, and we know that cannabis eventually is going to be legal across the country, and there's a lot of issues depending on what state you're in, and we wanted to talk cannabis construction and construction in general, but like everybody else, Chuck, you got to tell us your story. So we want to know where you grew up. Tell us about your parents. Where you went to school, how many kids and dogs you have, how you got into construction. All that stuff. Can't leave any skeletons out because we want to know that stuff. Can't hide because we can find you. So anyway, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago, working class family. My dad was a factory worker. Mom, for the most part, was a stay-at-home mom. She was a preschool teacher for several years. 2 kids, myself and my younger sister, 6 years younger than me. Made it as well. I have some college. Right after high school, went to Thornton Township High School in Harvey, Illinois. And right after college, I had engaged with a recruiter to join the Marine Corps. And it was during Operation Desert Shield, which became Storm, which that didn't concern me, that didn't bother me. What happened in the meantime is I was supposed to go in that November of '91, and I started working as a union laborer in Chicago in commercial construction, and I caught the bug. I got addicted to it, and started out from the bottom as a laborer. And was put in front of a lot of opportunities that allowed me to advance rather quickly. So I made it to foreman, and superintendent, project manager, up to director of operations, where I report to our president for our current organization. But really just the construction bug bit me. And what I found really cool about it is the fact that we don't just build it and leave it alone. We build it, we'll remodel it, we'll demo it, turn it into something else. And that happened pretty quickly in my career. Matter of fact, I was on people's projects where they were remodeling. Hey, remember when we did this originally? And I saw that quickly. So working with national brands that people would know and recognize across the country. I was always Chicago-based at first, but I always worked for national players. So we, any of the national brands in apparel retail, in restaurants, landlords, developers, watched them evolve over the years, hospitality, some industrial office. So I've had a very fortunate career in a lot of the work that I've done over my life. Currently married, 2 kids. Our son is fresh out of college, and our daughter is back at her junior year virtually at the University of Tennessee.
Nice. Well, you're a Vol. I'm living in Georgia, Bulldog country. So, go dogs. Woof, woof.
That's
But,
okay. My money's a ball, so go Vols.
we were talking before about the SEC. So, let's just hope they can make the whole season because, I'm a Yankee living in the South. So I went to University of Denver. We didn't even have a football team. So we were hockey. I played hockey and lacrosse in college. But,
Sure.
Down here, football's king.
Oh,
So
yeah.
high schools are playing, which is a good time. I just hope that the college guys can make it through the whole season because I don't know what these people are going to do without Saturday, without flying their flags around the town.
And we're ready for football. We are ready for football here in Chicago for whoever you root for.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching. They have this thing called the Corky Classic. It's all all the elite high school teams around the state. They come in and they play over Labor Day weekend. And so I was watching some of the games on the tube. And North Gwinnett High School, they're a normal perennial powerhouse, and they were playing Keatron. I don't even know who won the game, but I was watching them, and I'm like, oh my god, these guys are like 325 pounds. They're huge, but their mamas have been feeding them some good stuff.
Oh yeah, there's some big kids out there. My wife and I went to grab some lunch on this past Saturday, Labor Day weekend, and they had ESPN highlights is typically what you run into now. And look up and went, oh my gosh, the Tennessee game's on. Oh no, that's the wrong.
That's high school, yeah. So they're all playing. So we're hoping that the college guys can make it through. The NFL, whatever. But
we'll take what we can get, quite honestly.
Yeah, but this is SEC's king down here, so hopefully it'll be all fun for everybody, and they'll all be close games, and I'm sure all those guys can't wait to, they've been hitting each other in practice, start the games, and let the strong survive. So let's talk about cannabis construction. So how did your firm kind of get into that niche?
Sure. Well, we pretty fortunate, whether we were lucky or skilled and good. We've typically been pretty diverse, and I think back to the downturn of 2008 into 2009, where we had such a diverse grouping of sectors of the commercial market that while everybody was affected, we still had clients that were building. If it wasn't in apparel retail, it was in hospitality to a certain degree. Our food service experience allowed us to do everything from fast casual to so we ran the gamut with that because we were heavy in retail. One of the things that we saw was the increased amount of auto repair that was busy, so we were able to just focus our retail efforts onto that. So we've always been pretty diverse in that regard. When cannabis came along, there's still, even though it's a lot more, it's becoming more common. We truly think that eventually it will go national, to a certain extent, or if the government decides to take it off of the controlled substance list, it'll have a lot easier of a path. But to get into cannabis retail was truly just a natural evolution for us, because it really is the best way I can equate a dispensary, whether it's medicinal or it is recreational, is think of a high-end jewelry store, because they really do have nice retail setup. There's beautiful casework, there's beautiful lighting. All the product has to be taken out of the counters and stored into their vault. So it's really right along the lines of a high-end retail jewelry store. So it was an easy transition for us to get into, and very fortunately for us, we had a lot of relationships with people, not only investors in cannabis, but also construction managers and architects and engineers that kind of helped us along the path. And we were only working for a couple of the labs at first. And I think right now we work with 5 or 6 of probably the top 10 national labs across the country within their, within their different brands that they have underneath the parent company. Because they'll have a name for their medicinal, they'll have a name for their recreational. Some have acquired other brands or labs, so they still have some of those names because of the name recognition. We've even been approached to do some design build, and it's interesting that there still is this stigma really all over the place. We had approached a couple architectural firms to see if they wanted to get involved with it, and one of them declined. Great firm, we don't hold anything against them on it, so we still work with them all the time. They were concerned about offending one of their food service clients. And they just said, it's not for us, not now. But we recently talked to them, and they said, yeah, maybe we might want to dip our toes into that pond. So it's been really interesting to watch the evolution of cannabis go from this taboo, let's stay away from it, to maybe we should be looking into this. So we even see that with some of the municipalities too.
Oh yeah. Do you basically concentrate on the dispensary or the retail side of it, or do you get into any of the grow plants or any of the grow facilities as well?
We're negotiating with one of our clients right now for a cultivation grow facility in New Jersey.
Because that's where all the high tech stuff is going on. I mean,
yeah, and it's interestingly enough with the cost of you're talking tens of millions of dollars to build one of those facilities, and the largest expense isn't necessarily the structure. The land, the land is what it is, but it's not necessarily the structure; it's the mechanical system, the HVAC.
Oh yeah, the lights, the shelving units, the hydroponics.
Exactly. You're almost half the cost of the overall cost of construction is dedicated into 3 trades. The mechanical, plumbing, and electrical. So we are talking to one of our clients that we've done many dispensaries for in both recreational and medicinal, to do a grow facility cultivation in New Jersey. And here in the far south suburbs of Chicago, we're working with another lab on a processing plant. Or a processing facility, rather. I don't want to confuse it with the word plant.
Right.
So the processing is where they'll take the raw product, the cannabis, the actual plants that are, once they're harvested, and they'll extract the oils out of them for other products, whether it's an edible, or they have, I don't know that much about it, but whether it's an edible or it's the oils that you can vape or what have you. So really, there's 3 different opportunities within the sector between the cultivation, processing, and the actual dispensaries.
My parents are jewelers, so I built a couple of stores with my parents when they were before they retired, and so I totally get the concept of inventory, showcases, safe. Yep. And that whole concept of you have to take everything out. Before you open, you've got to get set up. You open, you have security, liability, and then closing. Everything's got to go in the safe, and lighting is a huge thing, because one bud might look better than another, or a cookie, or whatever. Yeah. And CBD is just a market in itself. I mean, my wife uses it, and she swears by it. We give our dogs it. You can use it for headaches, and I'm in Georgia, so they didn't even serve alcohol here on Sundays when I moved here in '92. So finally now you can get alcohol, because the blue laws were there.
Right.
But between Macon and Savannah, all those farmers, they're growing marijuana illegally. But as soon as it's there, they're hiding it, but they're growing it. But as soon as they get it legalized, like North Carolina gets it or whatever, all the people are going to go across, and it's all about tax revenue. So.
Well, And to your point, it's we're only on the construction end, so I try to stay in my lane as far as that business goes. But we sit back and we hear our clients telling us things. We keep hearing these terms, common sense laws for anything. And in cannabis, it's odd because most states have within their laws immaculate conception. And that is the product had to have originated from the state. Well, if you just legalize it, how is that possible? But we have clients that are pushing to get their own cultivation in certain areas. We're told that California has a surplus of product, but they can't export it to another state.
Correct.
Whereas in Florida, we have two dispensaries, one that we built and one that we're contracted to build. The one that we built can't even open yet because they can't get enough product. The other project that we've been awarded, they can't even start because again, they have this product issue. So it'd be great if you could just take the stuff that they're destroying in California and bring it over to Florida and continue marching through this commercial real estate boom that is cannabis.
One of my good clients, he was in wood flooring, aged products. They used to take old barns and make flooring. Anyway, he was out in Denver. They legalized marijuana, and he decided to get into the manufacturing side of it. And he's been building these facilities and acting as a design consultant, or kind of like a design build gig. Okay. And some of the pictures that he's sent me of some of these grow facilities that he'll go out to California and he'll work on some of these grow facilities. It is unbelievable what some of these places look like. We're not talking, like you said, millions and millions of dollars, high tech. I mean, crystal. They're almost like computer chip labs. I mean,
like a data center. High security. The HVAC systems again are just absolutely incredible. They're able to take this, think warehouse space and dial in the humidity to exactly where it needs to be in this huge space. I mean, the tech behind it is absolutely amazing as well. I mean, even some of the back of house systems, the servers and controls are pretty involved as well.
But it's still selling product, whether you're selling jewelry or edibles or clothes, it's retail. And a lot of the cannabis guys, they're growers, and it's just like the craft brew. Those guys know how to, make beer, but they're not marketers. They get their, so it's an evolving sector. But since we put it in our column in the magazine, more and more people are hitting that page because sure. I can see where people are going on my website, and I've got 14,000 pages of content on there. And sure. But it is such an attractive niche to get into, and because there's so much opportunity and growth.
No question. I talked about the stigma that was around cannabis and those dirty pot smokers. Once people start to get a feel for what a dispensary really looks like, it's not the seedy back alley thing that people think it is. These are beautiful lounges, and one of the great things that I've seen in some of our tours is you've got customers from all walks of life walking into these facilities, and it's not a certain type of person only. It's literally all kinds of people that come into these. And I think, another thing which is really benefiting the industry, you got to keep in mind, again, with that stigma, we had architects and contractors that didn't want to touch. Well, contractors is okay for me if they don't touch it.
Right.
But we had architects and engineers that didn't want to get involved with it. We had real estate brokers that are licensed by states, and they wanted to stay away from it. Banking can be an issue for it. Landlords, there's landlords and REITs that are publicly traded that I think have just backed away from it. But the interesting, and not to mention municipalities, because there's so many municipalities that have just said absolutely not in our house, not in our backyard. until they start seeing some of the revenues coming in, because it's an
Yeah,
amazing.
and then it'll change. And then,
Yeah, and I understand it. It's a little frustrating, but I understand it. Now you've got these municipalities looking at it, going, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's tour a facility. And you know, you have the licensed lotteries. I mean, it really is a tremendously huge, big business.
if if someone wanted to get into the business, what's your suggestion to them? You know, to target cannabis. You know, whether you're a contractor or a shelving supplier or a lighting supplier, how would they go about it? Do you think? I mean, just
Yeah, there's several trade organizations you can reach out to. You know, unfortunately, right now with the pandemic, we don't have our trade shows.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
the trade shows in the past I think we've been involved in cannabis for 3 years now, and within that past 3 years, these trade shows have grown from just a little gathering to this. I mean, it's a big deal where they're taking out large convention halls
yeah. I
for.
walked. Where was it? Red. It was up in Portland, I think it was. That was the first one that I walked, and then exploded the following year,
Yeah.
doubled in size, and you know, but obviously trade shows right now, they're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
everything's virtual.
trade shows soon as they open those up. But there's trade organizations. You can do simple search online. I think it's great that publications like yours I don't want to say embracing it, but including it, because you can't ignore the fact that it's an amazing force in commercial real estate right now. And
Listen, it was very dicey for me as a publisher
I get it. I
to
get
put
it.
it in there, but I said, what, I've got alcohol. We don't. We have a craft brew section. We don't talk about the alcohol. We talk about the building and
Sure.
marketing of it. But it's a legal substance. There can be discussions on what's bad, what's
Yeah.
not. You know, uh, like I said, my wife, she believes in the CBD oil, and whether it's an ache on her foot or listen, anything that can heal pain.
Oh, no question.
Because listen, I've had both my ACLs done. I've broken bones, and through my sports career, and opioids are really, really bad. Not only can you get addicted to them, but also they make you constipated, and they're just not good. And I think that this is a definitely a natural alternative. Not only for on the medicinal side, but also for personal consumption. Just like a person wants to have a beer or a nice vodka tonic, hey, you can go eat a cookie, and that's, I have no problem with it. But it has to be regulated. I
No
don't,
question.
got to have an age limit on there, and just like anything else, there's got to be rules and how to
Yeah.
run it. But
Even when we look at the facilities, when you look at the amount of security that goes into these, and certainly don't want to disclose any
oh
any
yeah,
any
oh no,
processes or systems that they have in place. But you look at it and you go, wow, it's an amazing expense, but boy, it makes sense. We had some of the civil unrest, unfortunately, that we experienced here in Chicago past about several months ago. And there's one of the dispensaries that actually we're honored to have built the first um, recreational dispensary in Chicago. But there was several of our clients, their dispensaries got hit, only for the looters to find that there was nothing to get, because it was all locked away. So they might have gotten some shirts and some tchotchke, but
right.
all the product was safe where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, sure.
But sorry.
No, you're good. Um, if you were going to leave our listeners out there with one word or thought, what would it be? As we come out of the opening of the pandemic, and hopefully not another lockdown on the road, and we're coming into the last quarter of 2020. The holidays will be here before you know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas. What one word or what positive thought would you like to leave with our listeners?
I think the biggest thing I would say is kind of our mantra here at Englewood: hang in there, hang in there. At some point, whether it's through some type of vaccine or there's going to have to be that. I don't want to call it a magic pill, but there's going to have to. We're going to have some trigger that's going to tell everybody, okay, we're going to be okay. Again, it may be a vaccine, it may be some type of medicine that helps treat this, but really hang in there because it's worth it. We have an amazing backlog here at the company. This isn't like 09 and 10 where there just wasn't anything in the pipeline. We've got a ton of work just waiting to start. And our clients aren't telling us, they're not telling us no, they're telling us not now. And
yeah, hang in there.
I think that's so positive. So if I were to leave one note behind, it would be hang in
there. Yeah, mine never quit. So yeah. It's hang in there is apropos for today. September 8th, going into the fall. If someone wanted to get in touch with you, how would they reach you?
Through our website at eci.build. My direct email is ctaylor@eci.build. Our main phone number is 847-233-9200.
If any brands out there or engineers, architects, or vendor suppliers want to get into not only the commercial sector that Englewood targets, but if they want to talk cannabis and see what the opportunities are there, email or give Chuck a call. I'm sure he would invite the conversation. We have a cannabis column, so if you have any cool cannabis stories out there, send them to me because we're building that section of the magazine. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me at davidc@ccr-mag.com. If you're not a subscriber, up on the toolbar at ccr-mag.com, it says subscribe. Hit that, and we'll add you to our mailing list. We went digital in May, and I had 1.4 million visitors last month to my website, and it's just exploded. Sent out the magazine to about probably close to 150,000 people every month. So yeah, it's been amazing going from print face-to-face to everything stopping to digital, and I'm loving it. So it's been amazing, and hopefully you'll become a subscriber. And if you have anything cool, I look at everything. If it doesn't make it in the magazine, we'll put it on the website, social media, all that stuff. So we look at everything. You never know what's going to end up in ink, so send it to me and I'll look at it. Well, Chuck, it's been a pleasure. I'll email you when the Vols win their first game, and your kids are going there. So yeah. And for all you commercial construction coffee talk fans out there, listen, fourth quarter, it could be a great way to end the year. Things are kind of positive. The election will be over. Let the best man win. I am so sick of looking at political ads on the radio, on the TV. Get it over with. Yep. And but on the safety side, remember, wash your hands, don't touch your face, be positive, make sure you're of your surroundings, and you're gonna make it. And we're gonna beat this thing. Hopefully there'll be a vaccine or a therapeutic something, and we'll get through this darn bug. But we're gonna have to live with it, just like anything else. You gotta take one day at a time and make the best of it. The sun's gonna rise tomorrow, and like Chuck said, hang in there. So with that, we'll see you next time on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. Chuck, say goodbye from Chicago.
Oh, goodbye from Chicago, David. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, and I'm up here by Lake Lanier in just north of Atlanta in Suwanee, and we're going to say goodbye. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Look for us on Spotify, Google, and Apple. That's where our podcasts are held. And once again, we really appreciate your time. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll see you on our next episode. See you later, Chuck. Good luck with the cannabis and everything else. Talk to you later.